Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to the community that we've built. Over 14,100 and something of us. Guys, thank you so much. Please make sure that you are still subscribed. Please hit the bell and please like and share the videos because the algorithm and I are having a problem here. And the reason is because I have a lot of different content on my channel. I'm interested in a few things. I'm a little complex. What can I tell you guys? What can I tell you guys? I'm looking out to my side and seeing Danny, my puppy, going nuts on one of those lick mats, but it's a bowl, and I put peanut butter on the side. And Milo, I'm sure, has devoured it, but Danny's over there trying to get what's left. I guess what Milo missed, even though Danny had her own $1 million bowl of peanut butter on a lick bowl. Anyway, I really am not going to talk about food anymore simply because I am doing the intermittent fasting. So we'll see how I do on that. Guys, we will talk about beverage, and I am drinking. Okay, it's a little messed up. I am drinking wonton soup broth. Just so you know, guys. So you know. Guys, I wanted to tell you about Gypsy Rose. So let's talk about her let's make this as simple and as true to what we see, and not with a lot of emotion. Though I'm an emotional person, and it's been an emotional day for me. And we're gonna wing it, but we're gonna talk about the things that we know. Okay, the things that we know. So what we know is that Gypsy was born, not hatched. She was born. Morbid. I hear Morbid saying hatched. Nope. She was born. Okay. And, she was born to Rod and to Dee Dee. We know this. On Rod's 18th birthday, he said to Dee Dee, "Hey, this isn't for me. You're not the one. You're not the one. But I love my daughter. If we're to believe Rod, I love my daughter and I want to be a part of her life." We really don't know how Dee Dee dealt with that. I'm sure she was hurt. She was 7 years older than Rod. We don't know how she honestly dealt with that. I'm not sure Rod knew how she dealt with that. That would have been something that would have been private to Dee Dee. Dee Dee's not here to talk. But in the meantime, Dee Dee, very attractive at the time. You got to give Dee Dee that. She was a very attractive woman at the time. She devoted her life to her daughter. Now, stop those naysayers. Yes, but I've got your butt. She was a criminal. She wrote bad checks. My dad wrote bad checks. My dad was a good dad. Okay? He did a bad thing, but he was a good dad. He was a career criminal until he was about 45 years old. I've told you guys this. But he was a good dad. He stayed better in touch with me than Rod stayed with Gypsy. Okay? He made mistakes. He was a good dad. Dee Dee was a good mom. The evidence shows she was a good mom. Pictures that we see show that she was a good mom. The trips that Gypsy went to, all the things that Gypsy benefited from, the celebrities that Gypsy met, the concerts, the Disney, the Ronald McDonald, all of that. That's what we actually have pictures of. And we also have in peppered pictures of Rod, and then later of Rod's two kids and Gypsy. So Rod had been in Gypsy's life for a certain amount of time. That had to be something that they worked out together, right? Because there's also pictures of Dee Dee with Gypsy's half siblings. So, and, there was a relationship among them. That everybody has said, except Gypsy. Rod has said it. Christy has said it. And again, Dee Dee's not here to talk about it. Okay? So the terrible behavior and how Gypsy was treated, I call that out to be a lie. Did Dee Dee manipulate? Yes. Did Dee Dee scam? Yes. Was Dee Dee malingering? Yes. That we have proof of. Did Dee Dee have Munchausen by proxy? No. Even you can't diagnose somebody who's dead with Munchausen. You can't do that. So you can't diagnose Gypsy as having Munchausen by proxy. You can't. You can't. You can't. It was convenient to get her less time, to give her an excuse. We have never seen proof that Gypsy has ever been ABUSED'd by her mom. Never seen proof of physical ABUSED. Now, if you want to talk about scamming and saying that that deserves somebody's unaliving, then Gypsy, that's what you're doing now. We never saw the abuse that Gypsy claims or that her lawyer gave her, because this only came out when Gypsy was having her case made so that she wouldn't be doing life, or even apparently the DEATH sentence was on the table for her, as it should have been. It was on the table for Charlie Manson. Okay, so the proof is not that Dee Dee was a bad ABUSIVE mom. That's not any proof. We have no proof of that. We have proof of a house. We have proof of a car. We have proof of Gypsy being in a wheelchair. We have proof of Gypsy not being in the wheelchair when she wasn't performing. We have proof that Gypsy knew how to get online, knew how to phone people, knew how to leave her house and go see Dan. And not only go to see Dan once, but go to see Dan another time in a hospital. Dee Dee, we know, was obese at the end of her life. Well, for longer than that, obviously. Dee Dee had gout. Dee Dee had physical ailments that her daughter could have ran from, could have gotten away and ran from. There is no reason except EVIL that Gypsy Rose unalived her mom. And then it gets worse, because what she does is she GROOMS, an autistic guy, a guy who's getting disability. We know this, that Nina always says, Flawless Nina always says, a flawless Nina the beauty influencer, same person, always says he was getting disability. You know how hard it is? I think that is why she says it. It is very hard to get disability. Guys, we know this. He was getting disability. So it wasn't a thought that he was a little disabled. It was proven that he was disabled. And it's proven that he said several times, let's just leave with me. We don't have to do this to your mom. We don't have to unalive your mom. Just leave with me. And Gypsy, because there's proof of this, says to him, it's the only way we could be together. Gypsy says to him, and there's proof of this, that he took her virginity. We know that somebody else took her virginity because there's proof of this. She has said this. But Nick believed that he took her virginity, and Nick was honorable, maybe in a weird-ass way, but he was honorable, and he tried to protect Gypsy. These are all manipulations by somebody who wanted to manipulate somebody to do something horrific. So much so, there is proof of this. She had an instructional video. There is a video, we have seen it, of her showing Nick what to do. She stole the weapon. Not Nick, she stole the weapon. She had everything ready for him. Then she did time in jail. And we saw the interrogation. So, these are facts, guys. We saw the interrogation. There was no mention of her mom being anything other than her best friend. The only thing she had with her mom was that her mom didn't like Nick. That was it. And Nick must have unalived her because of that, because that was the only way that they could be together. Not that Gypsy planned it, like the police officer said, and she said, "Oh, no, I didn't. No, I didn't." No, until she had to admit it. Nick told the truth after he was told Gypsy had told the truth. So was Nick manipulated into telling the truth? Absolutely. He was going to do the honorable thing, is what his interrogator said to him. And Nick, believing in authority figures, is never going to lie or anything like that, and should have had a lawyer there. But believing in authority figures and what the interrogating officer was saying to him was true, he told the truth, and he has stuck with that truth ever since. Gypsy has changed her mind several times about everything in the story, everything about her mom. Her mom should have a legacy, and her mom has no legacy other than what Gypsy has given her. That alone is criminal. When somebody goes through their whole life, listen, I don't know how. I know I've struggled financially. I know that, I've had to borrow money. I know that so many people in this country live from paycheck to paycheck. I know people lose their homes. I know there's misfortune. I know. I've never had a child. And thankfully, I've always had family to be able to go to in horrible situations. And if you don't have that, what do you do? I don't know. Was she desperate, or was she just a criminal? That's a whole other conversation that we can have about Dee Dee. But that's the worst she did. We know that Gypsy said she had more than 30 surgeries. We know she has 4 scars. Gypsy has a micro deletion. You can go to Fancy's channel, Good Wives Network, and she's got a whole thing that explains the whole thing about that. The whole thing about that. Okay? That is true, and I recommend you go check that out. She has the micro deletion. The micro deletion explains the eye surgeries, and Gypsy herself will say, yeah, I needed those surgeries. Yeah, she had a lazy eye that was very extreme, and it would have caused, I believe, blindness, or so. She definitely needed that surgery. The salivary glands, well, we clearly see that she needs that surgery. Imagine if she didn't, she would look rabid. Like, come on. So she had a feeding tube, failure to thrive. She didn't grow the way she was supposed to grow. She wasn't taking in things. She had a feeding tube. That's part of the micro deletion. That's a side effect from it. That's something that happens from it. So she doesn't have every single one of those symptoms of the micro deletion, but she has some of them. So all of these surgeries were important. They weren't made up surgeries. The made up stuff was the stuff that Gypsy knew about. The chemo, the leukemia, the muscular dystrophy. Gypsy, you think Gypsy, she was never an idiot. Never an idiot. You can see videos. Gypsy was always smart. Always a smart person. Dee Dee spent time teaching her shit. Okay? She read Harry Potter books at a very young age. Like, I can't keep, first of all, I don't read fantasy, but I couldn't keep in with all the characters, okay? So Dee Dee did quite well on being a mom. She was a good mom. It all appears. There's pictures. There's things that came out of Gypsy's mouth. There's things that came out of Christy's mouth. There's things that came out of Rod's mouth that is said that Dee Dee is a good mom. The only ABUSE, physical, came out of Gypsy's mouth, and it was given to her by her lawyer, who said you had Munchausen by proxy, and this is the only way to get you out of it. And you might want to add some abuse. Maybe she added the abuse later. Maybe she added all that shit with the dog collar and all that stuff later. Maybe she did. Maybe that had nothing to do with her lawyer, because she embellishes, embellishes, embellishes. And this is all now Dee Dee's legacy. When Dee Dee's legacy probably, in all fairness, should say loving and devoted mom, scam artist. That's what it probably should say, right? So, Gypsy, the only person that could really leave any kind of legacy for her mom, has failed in that. And since she's gotten out of prison, she's made promises that I dare any of you to show me that she kept. Where did she advocate? I mean, now what? She's doing some sort of stupid book tour? Is that what somebody's going to say to me? Where did she advocate on her own? Where did she donate on her own? Where did she do anything to make herself grow? Where does she acknowledge Nick as anything more than the person that did the act? Well, he did the act. You talked him into doing the act. You battered him into doing the act. You preyed on him for doing the act. She did more to coerce him into doing the act than Charles Manson did with his family. And Charles Manson spent life in prison. And Gypsy is out here making money, being an influencer, being put on people's broad stage as a survivor. When if you looked into it, you'd see there was no survivors in this. None. And the perpetrator was one person who talked another person into doing something horrible. Nick still sits in prison trying to get a fair trial. Gypsy still says it's all on him. As a matter of fact, if he was any kind of man, he would have said, let's go to the police. He said, and you said, she will get me. We can only be together. So, when you paint your picture, paint it correctly. Guys, I just wanted to go from A to Z to tell you why I am so enraged by this person and the way that I see it. The way that I see it when it comes to who Dee Dee Blanchard was and who I think Gypsy Rose is. So let me be clear. I think Gypsy Rose, nature, not nurture. You know what I'm saying? I think Gypsy Rose was born evil. EVIL. I think she was. I think she was born broken. And I think she's dangerous. And I think the fact that people that have put her on a platform are encouraging horrible behavior. Guys, tell me what you think in the comments. Tell me what you think in the comments. Okay, guys, be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. I appreciate you all. And I thank you so much. I'm going to be doing a live tomorrow, Sunday, October 13th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to honor my dear friend Sylvia, who passed away this morning around 4:30 a.m. All right, guys. Thank you. This is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I'm Toddy One Skip, and you're not.